Yeah, it's still good morning. It's Jorge Herrera, Jorge Herrera, and I'm coming up on YouTube in English for my Tuesday appearance that I started a few weeks ago. Well, now I could say a few months ago, because this practice with my consistency started at the beginning of 2020, this sharing of my personal growth. And today we're going to talk about the law of consistency from the book, The 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth, written by John Maxwell. And it's a great law. And it has a lot of quotes in it, so it's very entertaining on that sense. So there is a subtitle on it that says that inspiration or motivation gets us started, but discipline keeps us going. So the discipline is extremely important, because we could start something and then without discipline we'll be quitting soon. And there is a quote from Vince Lombardi, a very famous football coach, who said that you better not start something that you don't plan to finish, because when you quit, you create the habit of becoming a loser, of being a loser. So it is very important to not to quit easy, because we create a habit of becoming losers. So John Maxwell talks about 4 questions that we should ask ourselves to grow and to keep that consistency in the growth. And the first question is, what is that we need to improve? The second question is, how are we going to go about growing that particular point? Then the third question is, why do we want to keep growing? And the fourth question is, when are we starting growing? So for the first question, he talks about that it's important to understand that we need to grow personally, besides growing some traits, some skills that we might need, or some work on some weaknesses to grow. But growing personally, it is extremely important, because we can only grow so much in our skills as our personality, as our personal growth allows us to. Then the second question, how to improve, then it brings that to the personality. And John Maxwell talks about several applications to learn how to understand our personalities, and talks about like the phlegmatic system, the DISC system, and some other system. But I learned of one that is very, very good and very easy to understand, because this this method goes to the core of who we are, and because of that, it really helps us to grow. And it talks about in colors. It talks about colors, so it's something that is easier to understand than other more complicated terms. So it talks about the colors, the red, the yellow, the blue, and the white. What is the red? The red is the type of person that wants to be the leader, that wants to be respected, that wants to be look after the person that knows everything, and this person is driven by success and money. So that's the type of language that we need to understand when we talk to this type of person, and that's what we need to understand if that's the type of person we are. The personality of the yellow is the one that wants to have fun, that wants to travel places, that wants to meet a lot of people. So it is important to understand that to help that type of person grow. And if that's our personality, well, that's what is going to move us. Now, the blue is a person that wants to help. Mother Teresa is a person that intimacy is what is important to this person. So if we want to help this person grow, we can tell this person, well, if you embark yourself in a journey of growth, you're going to be able to help more people. So that's what is going to move this person. And the white is a person that wants to be left alone, that wants to be move around. It's a person that wants the details on everything. This person wants to know how things work to the detail. So understanding that we can help this person grow, giving them the details that are going to help him grow. And if we want to achieve change, then we need to take small steps, because if we try to make a big change at once, it's going to look too difficult, and it might discourage us from embarking in that change. But if we go in smaller steps, then we can achieve that growth, that we can achieve that change, because a little bit at a time we can conquer a big undertaking. And also we need to be patient, because change doesn't happen overnight. The overnight success normally has 10 or 20 years of trial and tribulations to get to that successful point, that successful position. And we also have to value the process, sometimes more than the goal, the position that we want to get to. By being engaged in the process is going to help us grow. It's going to be more valuable than the same goal that we place to ourselves. Now, the third point, why do we want to keep growing, and why, what kind of motivation we use to keep growing? Because the inspiration at the beginning might fade, might die, and we might quit without a lack of deep motivation. And for that, John Maxwell relates a couple of stories that are funny. He talks about a salesman that gets stuck in a hotel by a snowstorm. So he's worried about how he's going to be able to go to do his sales in the morning next day. So he asked the waitress a question. He asked, "Hey waitress, do you think that the roads will be clean enough to drive in the morning?" And she answers, "Well, that depends if you work on salary or on commission." That's a fantastic answer. But because if you work on salary, you don't have much to worry about. But if you work on commission, you might get yourself a truck with a plow to plow your way to see your customers. So that's the difference in the motivation. Now the other story is about the Kenyan runner Kip Laggard in Kip Laggard, that he won the long distance, the marathon in the Disney Olympics. And a reporter is asking Kip, "Hey, how is it that Kenya is able to produce so great long-distance runners?" And he answers, "Well, it's because the signs of the roads. Beware of the lions." That's a great motivation to run fast and on long distance. So there's also the fourth question on when to start improving. Well, then again, John Maxwell used quotes here. There's one from Leo Buscaglia, a trainer and a coach, who says that if life is lived for tomorrow, that tomorrow may never come, because tomorrow is always one day ahead. So we need to live for today. We need to start today. There's also a quote from Aldous Huxley about consistency that makes it fun, that consistency is difficult to achieve, that you need discipline. So he says that the only consistent people are dead people. And the other quote is that you don't change anything in your life unless you change a little thing every day. If you're able to change a little thing during the day, then you are able to change your life. And in reference to trying to make a big change at once, then Darren Hardy, the author of The Compound Effect, he makes a great point that little things done every day produce a compound effect. So that's why we need to be consistent. Well, I hope that this chat is of value for you. And before I close, and before I forget, let me tell you that there is a fantastic training that is about to start. There's nothing like it. It's called the Master Key Experience. This is a project that was started a few years ago by Mark Janesewski and his wife to create 3,000 self um, um, self-thinkers. I mean, 3,000 people that can think for themselves. And we see nowadays in the world that there is a big lack of that, because people want to conform, and that's no good, because wanting to conform does not help. There's no progress when you want to conform. When you challenge things, when you ask questions, there is change. So that's what Mark and Devine want to. They want to go to 3,000 self-directed thinkers. So you can put your name on the list for this training that is starting in a couple of days. Actually, if today is the 7th, it starts tomorrow. The Master Key Experience. So go to my blog, JorgeEHerrera.blog, JorgeEHerrera.blog, and put your name on the list. And if you visit my blog, you will get the 7 days mental diet, and you will be able to change your life. Because this 7-day mental diet is tough. It will help you to get rid of negative thoughts. Can you imagine a life without negative thoughts? It's fantastic. It's a life worth living, where everything is beautiful, where you don't have a problem with anything. A life with positive thinking. So thank you. Enjoy nature. Smile. I'll see you next week. Don't forget, don't miss it. Put your name on the list. JorgeEHerrera.blog. See you next week.